The best transfers for Gameweek 27, the right captain choice, and the best possible way to approach Gameweek 29 and my thoughts on it. Those are some of the things that we will be discussing for today. But before we do that, I'm FPL MV and welcome back to the realest YouTube channel out there. I hope you're enjoying my content. For sure I am. I will be providing some necessary tips for you, maybe some fun drafts like yesterday's wildcard video, my team selection, my tips, my team, how to approach the game week, what to look out for, how the teams are going to settle. A lot of questions are being answered every day here. So if you enjoy it, subscribe, like, comment, all of those good stuff. Now let's begin with the video topics. First of all, let's start with transfer targets for this game week. I will go to the fixtures and the fixtures difficulty rating. So for game week 27, the best possible approach in my opinion is to invest in Spurs. If you're looking to avoid free hitting in game week 29, Spurs is the best team to own players from, as they are not blanking then. If you're looking for more players that are not blanking, Aston Villa is another great shout out. Arsenal will be blanking, but for sure their team and their form at the moment speaks for themselves, and I believe it's important to own at least two of their players. There is a double up in game week 29 between Bournemouth and Luton, so players from their sides can improve your team massively. We will discuss all of that, but for me, the best transfer target at the moment is called Heung-min Son. For me, with penalties, being their captain, with Crystal Palace at home, then having, Villa away, but still Villa, who are conceding goals. Then in game week 30 is Luton, then it's West Ham Forest. You have a pretty important player there who can give you a lot of points. So be prepared if you are not owning him to struggle. I know he is not as highly rated as, not rated, but owned as some of other the players, but that means you can get him and get a really good return without him being owned so much. If we go to the status and we see Solanke and Salah make the top two, but after that is Son, Douglas Luiz and Saka, which is pretty obvious thing that players are investing in him. On the other side, KDB, Jota, Højlund and Alvarez are being sold, as well as Pedro Porro. We still don't have any information for Porro if he is playing or not, but if he is playing, it seems like a stupid decision to transfer him out, but yeah, it's a lot of things to think about. Another great transfer option is called Dominic Solanke. What happened? Okay, let's go to the transfers. It's Dominic Solanke for sure. I know he is flagged, but there is a high chance that he will be playing. If he is not fit, just don't go for him yet, but for game week 28, for sure invest in him. I believe that percentage will be way higher, and you get good returns in those two fixtures. The worst three sides at the Prem, at the bottom three, they face them. I believe it's a pretty important thing to own at least one player from Bournemouth. Speaking about Bournemouth, now we will focus on the best Bournemouth players and how I see their team. If you're looking for a defender, in my opinion, the best option at the moment is Neto. If you don't have a solid goalkeeper, Murara Neto is a great option. He's with 82 points. He's pretty high on the goalkeeper charts. He's with 11 bonus, so he's getting several bonus points. He has 5 clean sheets, which is not too bad. He has clean sheets against Fulham, against United, against Palace, against Newcastle, and against Chelsea. So against the weaker sides, he didn't get the clean sheets, but against Burnley, to be honest, he didn't play. Against Luton, they haven't played yet, but they were on a clean sheet run. And against Sheffield, he conceded, but yeah, it was only one goal and it was away from home, so Neto can get a pretty good return. I know that Senesi is a pretty popular pick at the moment, but looking at something important is, first of all, he has those 3 fixtures in the span of 2 weeks, but he is on 8 yellow cards, which is a pretty terrifying number, especially if he gets one against Burnley. You have a pretty good chance that he's missing game week 28. at least one of the fixtures, which will be detrimental if he is replaced. On the other hand, Zabarny is a guy who is on 4 yellow cards, to be perfectly honest, so he's even closer. But if he receives a yellow card against Burley, you know that he will be missing. So it's an interesting thing to monitor. Like, I'm not sure if he's getting booked too soon. Let's see if we have on this side fixture ticker, watch list, suspension. So let's go. What does this mean? So who returns from a ban? So I believe there isn't a booking for 5 yellow cards anymore, so that means that he is going to be there for sure. I know he has far less points than Senesi, but Senesi has scored 3 goals and made 2 assists, while Zabarny is with 0 goals and 0 assists, so maybe a cheeky goal is incoming, but I believe he is a really good option there. Another good player is Kerkez. I know that he has only 1 assist, but now with Void Kill being out, we don't know for how long. We need to monitor that. Kerkez is another option. Have in mind that Utara Dango can be utilized as a left back, while Zabarny hasn't missed a minute yet in the Prem, so he is there to stay. Senesi, yeah, he has been replaced in a couple of fixtures, substituted, so Zabarny is the way more nailed player. And if I'm going for a center back, I'm going for him. I know that Senesi is 4.5% owned, but Zabarny is 0.2. If you're looking to bring in Son or Solanke and you have only free transfer this week, I will not recommend you to use a hit for a defender. I know he can get a clean sheet, but 1 goal and he's only with 2 points. And if they concede even more, if something goes wrong or he receives a yellow card, you are going even further down. So I would not focus my free transfer on a my hit on a center back that is playing for Bournemouth nonetheless. I know that if they get a clean sheet, you will be hurt because you're not owning any of their players, but I will just invest in Gameweek 28 for him. Then in 30 I can play him, then in 32, so I wouldn't be worried of suspension unless he gets a red card, which is always a possibility with the defenders. I would try to get rid of Estupiñán, especially if Poro is fit. I'm not going to replace Poro. This week having Poro is a good thing to own at the moment, especially if he plays. If he doesn't, it's going to be Gabriel, Estupiñán and Dawson. I will suck up the damage and just continue doing so. It's better at some point to just get the 1 or 2 pointers unless you're sure the team is getting a clean sheet. But Burnley at home, this is a really good chance for them to gather some points because they're going down if they're not getting some of the points. So yeah, it's interesting there. So that's my take on the double. I know that I do not own any Wootton players and they tend to score goals, but Doughty, I believe he's conceding against Crystal Palace and against Bournemouth both, especially against Bournemouth, as I'm investing in Solanke to score, so obviously they're going to concede, so that's a wipe up of the clean sheet. If we go to Wootton's players and see them, yeah, Doughty is on a good fixture run, but the last 4 fixtures it hasn't been good. They conceded 4 here, they conceded 3 here, 2 here, 4 here, so their defense is a little bit leaky. Yeah, he is getting some clean sheets or assist returns here and there, which is ideal for a double game week defender, but I think that the Bournemouth defender is way more important, especially if you're using the free hit in game week 29. We will talk about that in a bit. From their midfield, maybe Barkley is an option, but who am I selling? Am I selling Douglas Luiz for Barkley? Probably not. Am I selling Palmer? Probably not as well. I know that I'm missing a possibility for a double up player, but it's still from Wootton. It's not like we should go and invest heavily in a double game week player that is solely focused on that and the team is not good enough and that player is not going to be there. I know there is a hit in disguise, so you can invest the points, but it's not for me personally. My strategy is to get Son this game week for KDB and then replace Stupinian or Egan Riley, one of them, for Zabarny, and I will have a nailed defender without the risk of him being suspended without the direct or the stacked up red card, and I will have Heung-min Son, who is on penalties and who is performing really well. The absentee of De Bruyne is going to hurt me for sure, as he is in a pretty good form now after the game against Luton, but I cannot own them all, so yeah, I will replace KDB with Son if everything with Son is alright. If I'm not having three proper defenders in play, because Stupinian, let's be honest, he's not going to play 90 minutes, he's going to be on the bench basically, and I'm going to get a cameo from him, so maybe that's enough. I'm losing a lot of points when not owning Brighton players, but a clean sheet here, I would be pretty happy about that. Dawson, he got a rest midweek and he's nailed, and I know it's Newcastle, but it's still Wolves are a good side and Gabriel is playing no matter what. Looking at the other options, Arsenal players are a pretty good thing to own at the moment. I mean, Saka for me should be 100% nailed in your side, one defender, and maybe add a third player if you have any options. Maybe a second Arsenal defender is a good option. Poro out for Saliba seems like a shout. But yeah, for me the most important targets are Bournemouth players and Heung-min Son. That should be your top priority for the upcoming 2 fixtures and 2 game weeks, and you have pretty good returns in my opinion on that. Regarding the captain choice, we have 3 options in my opinion: Saka, Son and Haaland. I don't see Solanke as a good option at the moment because he may not be nailed. Watkins, yeah, he is an option, but he's not on penalties, and I would like my captain to be at least on some set pieces so he can deliver the cheeky set pieces points. As you can see, at the moment I'm believing in Haaland. After the 5 goals display against Luton, I don't see him not scoring a goal against United. And Saka, yeah, he will be a highly possible option for captaincy, but I believe he's due a blank, as 5 games with so heavy returns. I believe he can blank pretty soon, and I don't want to be on the receiving end of that. He didn't play last time against City, which was a bad outcome, but regardless, I will put him in my side. I will make him my vice captain. I will save that, but he is not playing as a captain right now. And the other is Heung-min Son, but I prefer Haaland and Saka more than Son, as Son hasn't scored yet since he's back. Yeah, he made an assist, but that was it. I need to see some more proof, and for Gameweek 29 he's most probably going to be my captain. Elsewhere, Watkins remains on the side, they're in a good form. Foden will remain as he got the rest during midweek. Palmer will remain as he's on penalties and he got rested during midweek as well. Leno is in goal. I'm not going for any other goalkeeper at the moment. I will use the wild card. When I use the wildcard, I will replace Leno with a double game week player. For now, he remains to the side. Douglas Luiz is my first bench option, so if Solanke is injured, Douglas Luiz is a pretty okay player to come in, and Stupinian instead of Poro if he is not fit. When we go to the Fantasy Football Scout, we had some press conferences today, and we're going to read them. It was Arteta, Dyche, Wilder and Ten Hag. Nothing too amazing for the injured players, like we're interested in Poro, Solanke, maybe Chan to see what's the issue, but the good things is Zinchenko, and Tomiyasu are possible to return, which is good. Partey is close to return, which is also good. Timber is progressing but remains out, so Saliba is not endangered. Jesus is back in matchday squad, but he will get accustomed to the display and the play, and he won't be risked. So yeah, David Raya will not be able to face Brentford, so do not invest in David Raya. For Manchester United, Fernandes and Varane shrugged off an injury concern. They are going to be fit, but Højlund, Shaw, Malacia, Mount, Martinez, Bissaka and Martial, they are going to be unavailable, which is not alright. The quote implies that Maguire is going to be out, which is not ideal, but the things are the things. Onana and Gay will both be assessed of this game week. Okay, Gomez is back on grass, Danjuma and Dele Alli remain out. And Dobbin was out, but I don't see anyone interested in Dobbin. Baldock and Brenton Diaz are returning, so that means that Arsenal may concede, but we have to see. Cameron Archer is out and Slimani is unspecified. Other players like Jebison, Wolf, Davis, Holgate, Basham, and Tigan remain out. So those were the news. We have to see what Friday provides with news. I'm going to discuss them for sure in Saturday's video, so you will be able to see that. Seeing the scout picks, Kelleher in goal, yeah, he's a good option as Alisson is injured at the moment for sure, but yeah, looking at Liverpool's team at the moment, I'm not too excited and I don't know who to pick. Maybe McAllister and Van Dijk and Kelleher are the only nailed players at the moment, so yeah, I'm not sure there. Gabriel, Senesi and Brent Waite, yeah, I agree. I prefer Zabrani, as I already mentioned. I hope he doesn't return big in Gameweek 27, so I can sneak him in Gameweek 28. I will highly recommend him instead of Senesi. I know Senesi has scored. I know that he's doing better points-wise, but I believe there is a cheeky return for Zabrani, so have that in mind. In midfield, Saka, Foden, Son, Diaz. Yeah, I do not own Diaz, but the three of them are there, and my front line is Solanke, Haaland, Watkins, so I'm pretty comfortable with the scout team, which is never a good thing in my opinion, basically. But yeah, we will see how that unfolds. Now going into Game Week 29 fixtures, we have to see that there are only 4 fixtures. This means that it's going to be an interesting free hit draft. I know it's not a pretty exciting time to use the free hit, but personally I don't want to destroy my squad around that just to fit some players. Yeah, I can develop 7 players, but 7 players is never enough. Yeah, I'll have the best players possible. I'll have the Spurs players, I'll have the Villa players. I'll most probably get Bowen if I have to do it, but why should I risk getting hits for a 1 week off? Why should I remove players that I do not want to do? Why should I just do it for the sake of saving a chip, which I may get the players that are having a double ups regardless, and I can have them all? So yeah, I will have Watkins, I will have Bowen, I will have Son, I will have Ivan Toney, I will have most probably Awoni, I will have a defender from Aston Villa, not from Aston Villa, but maybe for Spurs, a defender from Brentford, a defender from Forest. We will have a lot of options, so yeah, we will see the best possible free hit team when the time occurs. Talking about the blanks, there is a high possibility that in game week 34 there are going to be some replays. Let's go with 34, and teams like Bournemouth, not Chelsea, Palace, Newcastle United, Sheffield, they can play in 34 because they do not have any European football, and I believe that it's a highly big chance that they will have a game in 34. So United will have Newcastle and Sheffield at home, which is going to be alright. Bournemouth is having Villa and Wolves, Arsenal for Wolves as well. West Ham are not having a double up. Sheffield is Burnley and United, so maybe a cheeky Sheffield player there to just have a double game week player from them. You never know how the fixtures will turn out. The first game between Sheffield and United wasn't so clean from United's perspective. Newcastle, as already mentioned, for Crystal Palace, West Ham and Newcastle. For Newcastle is United and Crystal Palace, so we have options. And then will come game week 37, where teams like Arsenal, Chelsea, City, Brighton, Liverpool are going to have their fixtures. And for Everton's perspective, it's looking alright. Sheffield and Liverpool. Yeah, Liverpool is not ideal, but Sheffield, it's a good fixture. From City's perspective, they have Fulham and Brighton, so goals are expected there. The end point here that I'm trying to reach is that we will get information who is playing when, maybe during the game of 29 blank. We will have more information, but you have plenty of time, and if you still own your wild card, and you haven't used it, you can prepare perfectly fine without the free hit. You can set up a good bench boost team, you can set a lot of things with the next wildcard, and you can be prepared. It's not said that the bench boost should be used only for double game week players, like for example Son, who are having Burnley and Sheffield. At the end of the season I'm having Son for sure. Other teams with good fixtures in the end are Chelsea, Crystal Palace are with okay fixture, Luton are not to be underestimated, United for sure, Newcastle it's alright, like Sheffield, Burnley, Brighton, Brentford doesn't scream a lot of clean sheets, City for sure, so we can invest there. But yeah, we can do a lot of things. So basically my team looks right that for now. Haaland is the captain, I am not changing that. They are playing on Sunday, so a Sunday late fixture, then I will get the points, but a lot of players will get them on Monday. It's difficult to decide. We don't have an early fixture, but we have a lot of fixtures playing at 5 my time, 3 p.m. UK time. I will need to monitor the Poro, Solanke and Son information basically, and everyone else from the side. But Saka and Gabriel are confirmed already, so I'm prepared there. This hasn't refreshed, that's why, yeah, Watkins was my vice captain, now it's Saka. I'll be alright, I don't care about the defenders at the moment, they're not getting me a lot of points regardless. Last week, only player to get the clean sheet was Dawson, the others were blanking, so yeah. Maybe it's good to settle at that defense, but I want to improve my attack first, and Son is a pretty good shout out. And for next week I will set up Bournemouth, and I believe that's the best option. Luton, yeah, they're an interesting side, but I'm not too excited. Crystal Palace and Bournemouth are scoring goals now. Yeah, Crystal Palace will most probably get Eze back, so they are going to be a danger. They are attacking now with fullbacks who are very advanced, so Luton may struggle against that because not a lot of sides play their style as well. We don't know for sure, but I believe the best player from Luton is a defender, and they're going to concede goals in my opinion, so I'm not risking it. Yes, Morrison and Adebayo are great options, but come on, I'm not selling Haaland or Watkins just to fit in Adebayo. Yeah, Haaland against Liverpool, but still he can score against anyone. And Watkins is against Spurs. Spurs are conceding, so yeah, maybe in that game week where everyone is buying Luton, I would try to get ahead with the single game weeks, like in game week 26, where a lot of players were having a double up, but the best performing players were Saka or Watkins, who are not having a double up. So yeah, if you can guess right the best double up players like McAllister and Gakpo, or Walker or Ederson, go for them, but I cannot guess that, and I prefer to be prepared for the better fixtures. I believe that wraps up the video for now. If you have any questions regarding your site, transfers or anything, write them down in the comment section. Support me by subscribing, share with your friends. Every help is much appreciated. I want to help you, and you can help me, and we can help each other basically. But I will be preparing my final team selection for Gameweek 27. You'll see that on Saturday, so you won't miss any updates from my side. But for now, guys, I'll be heading out. Bye!